So, here's my purple Pook Maxi S, the only S I've got, and as you can see it's been stripped down to a frame. So, wooden number plate, fantastic feature. Stripping it down to a frame makes it easier to address this rusty tankness, which I'll show you properly in a bit. So, in order to get rid of the varnish and gum and mank inside there, I've got acetone based nail polish remover. Now, this was £1 a bottle for 400 millilitres from B&M, and I've bought 5 bottles, which gives me 2 litres, which is roughly half a tank full. So what I'm going to be doing is rotating the tank every day for hopefully a week, or however long I've got basically, until it's time to get rid of it. And we'll keep having a peep inside there with the endoscope and see how it's getting on, if you can notice the difference. Oh, haunted bottle, what's that all about? No, get the camera! So yeah, we'll keep having a look in there, see if it makes any difference, and we'll do the same with the vinegar treatment, because it would actually be quite nice to see whether it's worked and how much it's worked by. But first of all, I've got to get this stuff in here without spilling any on the paintwork. Now, I imagine if any of this goes on here and is left on, it will make quite a mess of the lacquer. I mean, it's not the best paint finish anyway, because it's not particularly been looked after, this bike. But, oh, there it goes. Brilliant. Right, let's get a rag quick. What an idiot. Yeah, so it's not been particularly well looked after. I want to preserve it as is if possible. I don't really want to be repainting it. I have already had to repaint the forks black because they were just too rusty and there was a danger of losing them, which normally I could replace them, but the DVLA want to come out and inspect this bike for originality and make sure the main things they're looking for to let you retain the identity of a bike. This may be useful to anyone that's trying to retain the identity of a bike and apply for a V5 for something that's been off the road. Oh, I've spilt some more. The main thing they're looking for is that it has the original engine, forks, swing arm and frame. I think frame, something else, anyway, I'll look that up. But basically, if more than 2 of those have changed, then I think it might be handlebars, not frame actually. If more than 2 of those have changed, then it doesn't count as the original bike anymore and you have no claim to the number plate. So this one has already got a replacement engine in it, so I want to keep as much of the rest of it original as possible. So I've got the, oh god, could I spill a bit more of that? Well, I might have to repaint the whole thing now. Let's get it off quick. Yeah, so when they come and inspect it, hopefully they'll believe me that that is the original set of forks, even though I've painted them. But we will see. So eventually this bike, I'd love to get a 2-speed engine for it actually, but they're like hen's teeth out here in England. So it may end up having to be a single-speed engine in it and keep it stock. But I want to get it restored anyway, because I've never actually ridden one with rear suspension on a Pook Maxi before, so it'll be quite fun and a bit of a novelty, at least for me, that is. So anyway, yeah, nearly finished pouring all this stuff in, and then literally get the cap on, shake it around, and it should hopefully start doing its stuff and cleaning the inside of that. Final bottle now. Let's see if I can do it without getting it everywhere. And we're away. So, it's actually an aftermarket cap, and I bet it vents. Let's find out. Yeah, I'll be wiping that then. It's all coming out the little vent hole in the side. So, yeah, that's something to watch for. When it comes to turning it upside down, I'm probably going to have to jam a rubber glove in there or something, and then put the cap in through it, if that makes sense. I don't want to lose any bits of rubber glove in there either, though, so I'm going to have to be very careful with that one. But as long as I get all this off, it hopefully should retain as much of the lacquer as possible, because I don't want it to look any worse than it is, really. So And now we wait, basically, and we'll come back to that tomorrow. So it's time to have a look at the state of the stuff that comes out of here. This is the nail varnish remover after a day. It went in absolutely clear. I'll try not to spill any on this bike. It's probably not the best place to do it, to be honest, but yeah, so we're tipping it all in this tub at the moment. You can see it's a different colour already. It's sort of a lot browner, rusty coloured, which is a good sign. Hopefully that's all the dissolved like gum and varnish and petrol that was left in there. I think I'd probably best give it a wipe and then a spray of GT85 just to make sure that it doesn't all go rusty where it's possibly thinned the paint a bit where the nail varnish remover was. But here it is inside. Looks a bit like Fanta with little floaties in the bottom, or sinkies in the bottom, I suppose. So yeah, there's quite a lot of sediment come out of there. It looks like it's done its stuff, and it's a lot cheaper than the proper stuff. This is also a lot cheaper than the proper stuff. This is my 39p a bottle, I think, vinegar. So yeah, that's a lot cheaper than getting something like the POR 15 rust treatment, or even Evaporust is about 30 quid. So, and it didn't. I'm not overly impressed with Evaporust, I've got to say, from the one experience I've had using it. But you never know, this might be a bit better. So this is the first bottle going in. I'm going to skip to the last bottle going in a minute, and we're going to see how much it actually takes. Right, this is bottle number 6. Yeah, it didn't take much out of that bottle. I'd say 5 bottles would do it. So 39p each, that's just under £2.40 for 5 bottles. Plus the £5 for the nail varnish remover. So far it stands me at about £7.40, well, £7.35 all in. Which is pretty good going, really, if it works. If it doesn't work, however, it's a total waste of £7.35. Now I've got the glove in again to stop it all coming out the vent hole. And give it a little bit of a shake and then set it down for a bit. I think it's probably going to be 4 or 5 days before I come back to this. So I'll see you then. Right, it's been 4 days. So let's see what this vinegar's done, if anything. I'm going to be showing you pictures of the inside of the tank from the endoscope at the end, from all the stages, so you can compare and see which bits do what and if any of it actually works. But for the time being, I need to get the stopper out before I can do anything. This glove makes it pretty tight. Right, we're out. So, out she comes. Oh yeah, there's a bit of colour to that. And a few chunklets as well. In fact, quite a lot of chunks. Fantastic, let's get it all out. This is a bit of a compromising looking position, isn't it? I hope none of you have got a dirty mind. Anyway, so my camera's actually lost some footage again, but what I did was I got my I invented this thing, which is a piece of chain with some wire on the end of it. I'll show you in a second. There we are. So I got my chain with a piece of wire on it, and I've just stuck it through the vent hole in the cap and tied a knot so that it doesn't disappear into the tank. And you lower the chain in. This is what I did, just with some of the vinegar still in there that I tipped back in, minus all the little chunks. Put it in there, shake it around. The bit of wire stops you losing the chain altogether, and when it came out, it looked like that. Look how saturated that is. You can't really see unless I show you properly, but yeah, that is proper milky, crappy, rusty stuff. So this is another tub, and I'll show you what it looked like before it went in. So this was the state of the vinegar before it went in, and it's a lot lighter. This is as it came out of the tank before, and it's a lot lighter, and it's a lot more sort of opaque, if you know what I mean. You can see through it. Now I'm going to tip. Oh, there we are. I'm dumping all that in, but actually, no, you see all that stuff at the bottom? That was with sort of trying to chuck the whole lot in. I'd have thought there wouldn't have been much left with the way I tipped it in, and it's quite heavy stuff as well. This is all very ferrous. It's crunchy as well. It's going to dye my hands orange, I should think. Yummy. But yeah, so the vinegar seems to have actually done its thing. And this stuff is to neutralise the vinegar, because there's a very high danger of flash rusting. This is water, by the way, just fresh clean water. And the thing is, when it flash rusts, it's really, really quick, so you've got to be very careful and make sure you neutralise all the vinegar with your bicarb. Mix it up with a screwdriver, that's always the best way I find. I don't have a spork like Ichiban Moto. And yeah, just tip it all in, make sure you get all the chunky slimy stuff at the bottom, because that's the strongest stuff. Get your chain, whack it around a bit, knock all the lumps off. Make sure you do a camp dance while you do it. Right, it's going to need several rinses out with fresh water to make sure you get all the lumps and all the residue from all the chemicals and things you've used out. Now, this can take hours and hours and hours. I was quite lucky with this one, but basically you keep going until no more lumps come out. This is the first rinse. Right, let's see what we get. Look for lumps. Oh yeah, there's plenty there. That's a good thing about doing it on a white background. So I've moved. No white background now, but there's also no lumps by this point. Right, this is the last rinse, so let's get it all tipped out. And then I've got a special plan for drying it. You need as much water out as you can, and then put it at an angle so that all the water that's left in there drains to the front, and then you can dip a rag in there and soak it all up. And now you have to put it in the outside toilet or somewhere warm. I hope that radiator works, otherwise I'm going to have to resort to other methods. Here's some other methods. Wasn't quite warm enough, unfortunately, and it was starting to rust over. Now, I wasn't very happy with the results of that, because it had all pitted and gone horrible, and the reason was I couldn't find this to swill it out with. This is rubbing alcohol, 70%, you really could do with 90%. You swill it round, tip it out, and whatever's left in there evaporates, because it's basically evaporates at a lower temperature than water. So that gets rid of your rust issues afterwards. And then, after drying it out thoroughly, I've got a mix here of 50-50 two-stroke oil and meths, because it's cheaper than rubbing alcohol. Swill that round, the meths will eventually evaporate and leave you with a layer of two-stroke in there. So, that should stop it rusting. And here's your moment you've all been waiting for, the before and after pictures. So the first one is what it looked like before. The second one is before I'd finished knocking all the shite off it with the chain, but it had the vinegar. You can see it's a lot clearer. The third one is it all pitted after I'd not used the rubbing alcohol, and the fourth one's what it looks like now. I will be doing some more tests of different methods in the future, because I've got plenty of bikes to do rust, but for now, thank you very much for watching.